Morning. This is just an update on yesterday, which was day 3. I will provide more details below this video, but the gist of it is that I used the bottle 3 times yesterday, once in the morning and again before lunch. And both of those I used a 3-minute cycle. And then I used, the third time, I used a 6-minute cycle in the evening during triple warmer time between 9 to 11 p.m., well after dinner. I also made sure that I was going along with the suggestions, which is to make sure you do not drink this. You have at least 30 minutes before you eat, and afterwards as well. It doesn't say the amount of time afterwards, but it's kind of common sense not to drink any water after you've eaten or exercise. You just let your body have a chance to begin the process of digesting. So this is like, in a way, it's taking probiotics, and you have probiotics on an empty stomach, whether they're in capsule form. Well, I'm not sure. Some capsules may actually suggest doing it with food, but I take a liquid probiotic, and that definitely has to be on an empty stomach. So yesterday, what I did was I took my probiotics first and then did the hydrogen water. And I did my whole energy routine before I actually took the water, and some minimal stretches. And then I went out to see what it was like for me. And I was a little bit clearer-headed, not a great notice, and not like a huge shift in my energy. No real difference, apart from having maybe a little bit more clarity, but nothing that was actually particularly striking. However, when I took the second lot, I'd been on the computer and doing a lot of exposure to EMFs, and I could feel the difference in my energy and hadn't taken enough care to make sure that I went away from the computer. So I did another cycle, another 3-minute cycle, and I used, green was the one I used in the morning, and I used yellow color just because I felt drawn to doing it. So I did. And I noticed within 10 or 15 minutes that the brain fog had eased and I had much clearer focus. However, I still stayed on in front of the computer. I mean, there are no miracle cures for anything. And so I was probably good for about an hour after drinking this. And I persisted, and then I actually got my brain fog back. But I did notice a difference after I actually drank it, and it lasted, like I said, for about an hour. And then in the evening, I made sure that I didn't drink this, and I used a 6-minute cycle, which is the yin phase, again in triple warmer time between 7 and 9 p.m., just to really cooperate with what needs to happen in that time, which is a winding down. I did not feel crashed out. I still had some clarity in my brain, which was striking. Now, if I've overcharged my triple heater, which is to do with all the fight and running and dorsal action that we have in our vagal response, and is responsible for so much. If I've been doing too much, and also because of the various issues I've got in my body, and I'm an early riser, by that time of the night, I'm a little bit puckered. Let's put it this way. I'm not at my sharpest, okay? I can make myself be, and then I'm overriding what my natural energy would be. So by that time in an evening, I can be overcharged and be focusing, but there's like a muzz energetically in my field and the way that I'm able to think. And so I still could be doing things, but it might be slightly driven, as if the switch has not been able to switch off. So it was striking to me within 15 minutes or so in the evening after drinking the 6-minute cycle. And I chose the indigo color again because that color just speaks to me. So I did that. I actually still had some focus, but not in a driven way. There was no sort of muzz around in my field. There was no clogging, and there was no little mini generator that was driving and pushing my thoughts a little bit, not out of control, but not in its own natural rhythm. So I felt like I was getting a little bit more in alignment with what that natural rhythm might be in a kind of relaxed way. It's very hard to describe this, but it was interesting. It did not crash me out the way it did on day 2 when I did the same cycle of 6 minutes. I couldn't keep my eyes open within 20 minutes. Literally, that's not an exaggeration. My eyes just drooped and I had to go to bed. So I did. So I wasn't sure what was going to happen last night when I did it. And so it was different. Okay, so that is day 3. Now today, and I'll post more about this tomorrow after I've gone through all of the cycles of bottles I'm going to have, I deliberately, for my day 4, have chosen to do the bare minimum of an energy routine to see what effect this bottle, which I'll be using the lid frequencies as well as what's the hydrogen activation in the bottom. That will be a new input for what to experience. So tomorrow, which is today for me, day 4, I am doing my bare bones, spooning my feet, emptying out chakras, blowing out, expelling the excess energy, and then zipping up my central channel, my back channel, and hooking up with my navel and my third eye. But what works better for me is my navel and my PowerPoint or governing 16 on the back. And that's all I did because I wanted to see if this had any effect, because I know what it feels like for me, having been doing energy medicine for a good while, in the morning, and to not actually be doing it, except for the bare bones, that I will not go out the front door without doing at least those things. So I wanted to see if this would have any impact. So tomorrow I will post for day 4, where I'm going to be using the energy frequency in the lid, which infuses it with the Nunonina has mimicked the frequencies of light in 3 different frequencies. And I will be experimenting with one of them in the yang part of the day. And I will let you know what I actually experience. Anyway, it's interesting so far.